Welcome back to 3B Farm. We're here for another week on the farm. We've got a few days of bad weather, but all in all, it's not going to be too bad through this week. So maybe I can get a few days outside as well, although we have a lot of inside stuff to do. So let's get on with the week. So thanks for coming back and sharing this time with me on the farm. I've got tons of seedlings to upgrade. I thought I had enough cell packs, but I didn't, so I ordered a case. So hopefully in the next couple of days those cell packs will come in. I've got more seeds to start this week. I need to start getting all the warm season stuff started. And I've got to upgrade all these plants that I've already started the cold season stuff into cell packs and make room to start the new seed trays. I've got stuff outside to do. I need to cut back plants in the high tunnel and start getting it ready. That fenced in area that I've been building, I still have some little things to finish on it so I can be able to totally deer proof it and get some plants put in the ground in there. And I need to put some plants in the ground in there. And there's some other stuff that I need to start seed wise and probably do some more soft needled evergreen cuttings starting this week. So I don't know, we'll just jump into this and we'll see what we can get done this week.
Now I do have some seeds laying around that, I built these air prune boxes, and basically what these are is there's a real fine wire mesh in the bottom of these, and then I set them up on bricks so that there's air underneath of them, so anything that roots will only go down and it'll air prune the roots on the bottom of these boxes. And I just have a few things that I want to get started in these, and one is this bunch of cherries. I just left these to rot in the cold inside the high tunnel over winter, and they're looking really nice and viable as far as the seeds inside, so I put those in one. I have some Orangium perennial flowers that I'm putting in one, and then I'm putting some crab apples that I'm not sure if they're viable or not, but I do put some screen over top of the cherries because I don't want mice or whatever getting in there to eat those up, but that finishes out that cold frame. Now as far as cuttings this week, I want to get some soft needled evergreens, and I want to start some cryptomerias, which are very winter hardy here, and it's something the deer won't eat, so I'm trying to get people to understand this plant a little better by using it here. So I just go do a bunch of cryptomeria cuttings off that one that I had there because it needed to be pruned back to control its growth habit. And then I have these Thuya green giants that are inside of a high tunnel, and I didn't get plastic on this tunnel, and the deer got in here and have eaten them bad, so they're kind of a lost cause, but there's tons of material on them to do cuttings. So I just did, a whole bunch of cuttings off of these, and I'm just coming back here and preparing the cuttings. I take a lot of the green off the bottom of it where it's going to be below the soil, so that's where it'll root out from, is the nodes from all these areas that I'm cutting these off of. And then I use an 8% rooting hormone. And you want to cut back enough of the green so that it doesn't desiccate and lose its moisture too fast. And, then that gives me a nice 6-8 inch cutting. And I got those out here and brought them out by the cold frames and realized that, this whole area needs to be cleaned up, and I need to bring another cold frame out here because I'm moving all the cold frames from a previous area. So I weed eated the area and raked out all the leaves and stuff and put this plastic down here. And basically this is just a real heavy vinyl that was used for some automobile projects at one time by somebody in another nursery. And I'm just using these landscape fabric staples to staple these down. And it's really brittle plastic, but it'll serve me for a little while. So then I move another cold frame out here, and that gives me more space to start doing cuttings into this area out here. So I put my cuttings in there and water them in, and that's another chore kind of started for the week. Now this area that I showed you before where I want to set up a composting area, I had got most of the wire around the outside of this, and I have some more of that vinyl, and it's ripping and tearing, but I don't want the grass to grow up through it, so I'm just going to use it even though it's a little brittle underneath of these. And I have some bags of leaves and grass, so I'm going to put those in there, and that's a start on that. And this fence that I've been working on, there's, some more that I need to go to continue and finish this so I can get trees in here. First, the boards that I'd put up for support for corners and stuff, I'm going to staple the wire to that from the top layer and the bottom layer. Then I gather all these materials, and there's a bunch of 18-inch chicken wire here. And I'm going to use it down at ground level around this whole area because the rabbits can get through this wove wire, and they will eat anything. I have lost tons of plants to these in the past. So once I get that nailed to the end post, I come back through with these staples, and I'm just going to staple the bottom of both the hard open wove fence and this chicken wire to the ground. And I staple each of them to the post as well and come through and get all that so they can't nose underneath of this or squeeze through the fence. And the top edge of that, I'm just going to use some of that electric fence wire and cut little pieces, and I'm going to wire that together, as well as the 4-foot chicken wire above the wove wire below. I'm also going to connect that with some of these and tie it as well. And that just gives everything a lot more structural stability and makes the fence a whole lot better of a fence. Now I finally did get in my cell packs, and I got a whole box of these trays, and I've got a whole bunch of upgrading that I need to get accomplished. So I just make a soil mix of basically, a third compost, a third perlite, and a third sphagnum moss, and fill a bunch of these cell packs. Then I just sit down with one of my trays of seedlings that I previously started and come back and, take a bunch of these and put them one per cell and make labels for all these cell packs. So now once these grow up, they're in a position where they can go out. Now I need to start more seeds this week. I need to do tomatoes and peppers and, several different things. So I just go ahead and my seed mix, I go ahead and put the soil in all these trays, and I come through and plant all my seeds in each row is a little different one, and I label every one of them so I can keep track of what's what. And I'm just going to start 4 more trays. And most all of these are tomatoes and peppers. I do have some cucumbers started in the end of one of these trays, but I do have more cucumbers to come back and finish as well, along with some squash and various other things. But basically, that's 4 more trays that are getting ready to germinate. And I just put these hoods on there, and they'll stay on there till they germinate, and then they come off. But basically, this is just kind of a look at the shelves, and these are all various cabbages here, as well as this next section up here. These are all cabbages as well. And I've got 4 different varieties potted up to this point. A lot of people don't go for the reds. I like them. But then I have this tray of broccoli here that I've got to upgrade yet. I have a little more red cabbage. I don't know if I'm going to pot it up or not. But then I have tons of cauliflower as well. And all that needs to go into cell packs this week. And these are the shelves over here with all my flowers on them. And I've got a few more trays there that I need to upgrade. And then I'm coming down through and, just showing the stuff I've already got in cell packs. And a couple of these are even starting to put buds on them. They're growing really well. They like being here. They're actually in front of a heater, so that they're probably feeling a summertime advantage with the amount of light that I'm giving them at this point.
And there you have another week of 3B Farm. I started doing a lot of outside work this week, and I didn't get as much done on the farm as I would have liked, but it's a good start. I got some, the fencing is just about done. I still have to enclose that one end a little more where the compost bin is, but basically I can start putting trees in there with a little more wire on that end temporarily. And started getting some hardwood cuttings done of needled evergreens. This is a good time of year Might be just a little earlier, but I think with the weather patterns that are coming on, I think it's probably a good time to start doing all the needled evergreens. I really like doing the Composting, and they really survive the deer better than Thuya do, which is Arborvitae. They look really similar. I think there's a lot more variety and better looking plants in the Composting family. But the Cryptomerias, the deer just don't eat them. Yoshino, which is the Cryptomeria you saw me doing cuttings of, grow to be a really nice big needled evergreen. There are dwarf varieties as well, but most of those are still under patent. There is one called Black Dragon, which is more of a columnar one that I do grow, and it has a darker foliage on it. So it's a real nice Cryptomeria as well, and it's not under patent, so I need to do some cuttings of those. But it was nice to go ahead and stratify some seeds in those air prune boxes. I've been wanting to get around that for a while. I'm surprised the squirrels or nothing had found those cherry seeds in that bucket sitting in the high tunnel. They did find some chestnuts that I had hidden in there, and they took all those, so those are not going to happen this year. They can't really get into the cold frames, but mice can. And they won't bother Orangium, so I'm not worried about those flower seeds being lost. And I do have some I'll try to start without the stratification too. I don't have these listed in the books I'm doing, so I don't know. I just figured I've got a whole bunch of them, so I figured I would do a bunch of with the stratification in these air prune boxes, and then I would try just a bunch later on in a flat as well once it's warm enough outside to go ahead and plant them out without the stratification. I experiment with a lot of different things all the time. Some things work, some things don't. You'll find out there by experimenting with things that some things may work for you that just don't for other people. The very first year I started doing cuttings, I didn't have my reference materials and didn't know anything. And there's one plant that I started, I don't remember how many, maybe 20, 30 cuttings of, and I got one of them to root. And I was really pleased with myself, but I was hoping there would have been more of them. But later on, after I had books and reference materials and stuff, I researched that plant better, and you can't, supposedly they will not root from cuttings. You have to start those from seed, tissue culture, or some other method, and they just won't root. So, experimentation is always surprising. I'm sure I'll never be able to duplicate the situation that the one did root and go on. It's beyond me why that one rooted. Everything just must have been perfect for that one rooted cutting. But anyway, thank God my cell packs came in. I have, all that broccoli cauliflower. I was hoping to get it up this week, but it'll go up first thing because I've got more seeds to start for warm season stuff, squash and all, just tons of things yet, celery, blah, blah, blah. So I need to get a whole lot more seeds started this next week, and I need to get all that stuff upgraded. I need to start cleaning out the high tunnel because I set up an interior tunnel inside of that with a second layer of plastic, and that's where I move everything out to harden off. And before I can move tomatoes and peppers and all that stuff into cell packs, all those plants that you saw already in cell packs will have to have been moved into the high tunnel in that area and being hardened off so that I can move the tomatoes and peppers and everything else into cell packs. And I'll take you through the process of building that little structure in there. I just put a little space heater in there with them, and everything I put in real early are the cold hardy stuff anyway, the cabbages, broccoli, cauliflower, all that type of a thing. So they're safe in there even if they do get a little cool, but the space heater actually does a good job with no bigger of an area that I put under a second layer of plastic in there. I am going to have to transfer my chickens out of there back to their outside pen, which, they've been loving life in there through the winter. They've had dry dirt for their dirt baths, and, they've been fertilizing some in there, but I think they're still doing most of their pooping at night in their house. I need to get it cleaned out and add it in a compost pile now that I have a new one set up. in any case, you know, I could go on and on and on. At this time of year, there's just so much to do with spring coming on, and it's going to be here before you know it, you know. I mean, some of those flowers are already putting on a flower bud, you know, it just amazes me. But we'll be putting stuff in the ground here before too long, so, you know, although we got snow moving in again tonight into tomorrow. You know, we've got a few days of cold. It won't be down in the teens anymore, thank God, but we are going to have some nights in the mid-20s. So it is that time of year still. But I'm really looking forward to the warmer days. The last 2 days have been in the 60s, and it's been nice to be out without a jacket doing work, and it's a comfortable working condition that you can work a lot without wearing yourself out due to the heat. So anyway, it's all good. Praying for spring. Bring it on, Lord. I would appreciate it. And hope you all are getting your gardens ready for spring. And hang in there, it's coming.